So, happy 4th of July, everyone. It's a very great day in our country. It also happens to be my birthday, so really special to me for that reason as well. I wanted to talk a little about the people that are criticizing the cost of Trump's 4th of July celebration. Now, look, first off, I do think that we spend way too much money on things like this in general, but what gets me is the selective outrage. So, if you actually look, during Obama's first inauguration in 2009, this was actually occurring at a time of a recession where a lot of people were struggling even more mightily than they are today. Despite that, the celebration cost over $170 million just for his inauguration. $49 million of that came from the federal government. So, in other words, the same people that are complaining about the cost of celebrating our country by Donald Trump had no problem with the cost of Barack Obama celebrating himself, and the fact that that cost nearly $50 million of taxpayer money in the time of a recession. So this is just selective outrage. I don't have any problem with people that in general say, hey, I think all these celebrations cost too much money. I'm kind of with you. I think that a lot of times that money could be spent better elsewhere, or there should be special funds that accept donations to pay for things like this. But I don't have a problem celebrating the country. I think the selective outrage has to do with two things. One, because people are partisan hypocrites and the Democrats just want to complain about everything Trump does. And second, I do think that there is a lot on the left, not everyone on the left, but there are a lot of people, it's kind of becoming the prevailing voice, that are ashamed of the country and only want to talk about how the country is oppressive and how it's a terrible place. That's why you see the New York Times right around the 4th talking about, releasing an opinion piece about how the country's not great. That's why you see Nike capitulating to Colin Kaepernick, saying that one of the founding flags of our country, the Betsy Ross flag, is racist. It's because there is this idea of cultural Marxism that we have to say the U.S. is the oppressor, the U.S. is terrible, and that any kind of civic pride or showing pride in the country is deemed somehow racist, or that's why they're demonizing the word nationalist. They don't want pride in the country. And so they think that this is some kind of show of force. If you look at like MSNBC, CNN, I saw people like Joy Reid and others talking specifically about how, oh, there's going to be tanks there. That's set to intimidate the people in this country that oppose Donald Trump. That's absurd. There are military flyovers at all sorts of sporting events, at all sorts of 4th of July parades. I don't know if you knew this, but usually these military planes are impressive weapons of war. They could do just as much, if not more damage than tanks. There's also a history of celebrating and having parades and having tanks at them in the past. So I don't see what the big deal is. The same people that are complaining about these tanks being used to show Democrats and people that are against Trump that, hey, we have military force, we'll get you, didn't have a problem when Obama was having military flyovers. I never took that as someone who was opposed to Obama. I never took that as Obama threatening me by showing, hey, we have, F-19s or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be down with understanding exactly what all the planes are named and things like that. But I never took it as a threat to me. It's just absurdity, and it just shows the hypocrisy. Look, it seems like a day. I have plenty of friends on the left that I think love this country. I think this is a day that we could all come together. Real quick, why is the United States the greatest country in the world? It's like that scene in Gladiator where they're talking about Rome. It's the idea. That's what's the greatest thing in the world about the United States. Yes, there is tons of things we need to fix. Yes, I would like to see people at the bottom of the income level and people that don't have health care be fixed. Veterans to have better health care. People with mental health to be taken better care of. The opioid crisis to be solved. Everyone to have more money. Everyone to have, a place to live and food, clean water to drink and food and all that stuff. And we could always be getting better. But the idea of the United States is that this was the first country that codified, and it wasn't perfect at the beginning, but the Founding Fathers knew that the individual is the key thing we need to focus on. Your freedom, your liberty, you as the individual, not a king that's in charge of things and he tells the people what to do, not socialism or a collection of people like a collectivist type society. No. You as an individual have rights, and until you directly harm another individual, the government should basically stay out of that. That's the idea. Rather, if you're on the left or right, you think there should be slightly more, slightly less government, that's fine. But that's what makes this country great. It's a country of unique individuals. It's your choice. There are extenuating factors, but the predominant factor in your life is you get to control how your life goes. If you work hard, if you do things right, if you're good to people, then you should be rewarded for that. That's what makes this country the greatest in the world. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, codified that better than any system since from before then or since then. And so that's what we should be celebrating today. All these sour grapes about, but this costs too much with Trump. This is a celebration of Trump. Again, none of these people said a word when almost $50 million of taxpayer money during a recession was spent on Barack Obama's inauguration. So it's just sour grapes. We should spend today coming together. We could talk about problems we need to work on, but we all need to come together under the banner of wanting this to be an even better country and recognizing how great of a country it is. And if we don't have that together, then what unifies us as a country? That's when we start to see dangerous things. Once you start to say the country is racist, the country is terrible, even the Betsy Ross flag is racist, then what brings us together? All of a sudden, we're just two separate tribes happen to live in the same landmass, and, it's going to lead to an escalation, which will be really bad. So, happy 4th of July to everyone. Hope you like this video. Please follow me on Twitter at @NorRobert. Also, look for more videos. Recommend me to some other people if you can. Thank you all so much, and have a good one.